trigger warning. This is just terrible stuff. This is footage from Kyiv. People barely have any clothes. They're having to stand in lines. Who knows? Maybe they have nothing to, they have no water to drink. They have to drink margaritas instead. Again, barely any clothing at all here. Maybe you could send me to Ukraine as a war correspondent. I volunteer. I'll personally go there as a war correspondent to cover this.
Kristen, Glenn Kessler from the Washington Post had a fact check about Joe Biden from earlier this month, noting that Hunter Biden admitted in court in July that he was in fact paid substantial sums from Chinese companies. Kessler wrote, Hunter Biden reported nearly $2.4 million in income in 2017 and $2.2 million in income in 2018, most of which came from Chinese or Ukrainian interests. But this directly goes against what Joe Biden said in the debate in 2020 with Donald Trump. Take a listen.
My son has not made money in terms of this thing about, what are you talking about, China.
Once you
None
became
of that
vice president,
is true.
he made a fortune in Ukraine, in China, in Moscow,
That is simply
and various
not
other places.
true.
How can my corrupt political opponent, crooked Joe Biden, put me on trial during an election campaign that I'm winning by a lot, but forcing me nevertheless to spend time and money away from the campaign trail in order to fight bogus, made-up accusations and charges? That's what they're doing. I'm sorry, I won't be able to go to Iowa today. I won't be able to go to New Hampshire today because I'm sitting in a courtroom on bullshit because his attorney general charged me with something. Terrible.
I am told, this is hearsay, but I am told by a reliable source that Friday evening somebody from Washington called the district attorney in Atlanta and said, you have to indict on Monday. We have to cover up all of the mistakes we just made with Weiss. And she said, apparently, my jurors aren't coming back till Tuesday. And they said, you didn't hear me. You have to indict on Monday. And she said, well, they're not going to get here before noon. They said, it doesn't matter. She said, this means it's going to be 8 or 9 or 10 o'clock at night. They said, it doesn't matter. We need the news media shifting.
Who made that phone call?
We don't know. And I'm telling.
Now I would yield to, who am I yielding to?
Distinguished guest, the President of the Republic of Korea.
We needed the voice of God to tell us that.
Every day, all across our nation, we feel and see the impact of the climate crisis. It is clear that the clock is not only ticking, it is banging. And we must act. Think about the impact on something like public health. When we invest in clean energy and electric vehicles and reduce population, more of our children can breathe clean air and drink clean water.
This includes government emails about Ukraine, mysteriously sent to both Joe and Hunter Biden. Meanwhile, 2 former vice presidential aides to Joe Biden, with close ties to Hunter and his investment firm, might soon face congressional scrutiny. According to FoxNews.com, both of these aides had jobs with Hunter-linked firms and worked with the big guy inside the government when he was VP. So much for that imaginary wall between the government and Hunter.
He was encouraging people the night prior and the day of to go into the Capitol. And Mr. Ray Epps can be seen at the first breach of Capitol grounds at approximately 12:50 p.m. Play the clip, please.
Out there, I'm probably going to go to jail for it, okay? Tomorrow, we need to go into the Capitol. Into the Capitol. What? No! Peacefully. Fed.
And you back, the indictment of Donald Trump for January 6th. The question there is, the idea obviously is they want to put him in prison so he's out of the picture, can't run, can't, campaign, can't do anything. But this is the classic, be careful what you ask for. Because now as a defendant, Donald Trump will have access to the discovery process, which every defendant has. And that's where you make motions and force the prosecution to provide the evidence that they used to go after you. And they have to provide that, whether they want to or not.